we're getting ready for the Caribbean Diaspora Forum here, produced and presented by the Caribbean Tourism Organization every year. And every year what happens is that Caribbean nationals come out and the same issues are addressed. The same issues of having the ministers and regional governments ignore their markets, ignore their organizations, ignore their expertise, ignore their media. And we're very hopeful as we begin this forum that these issues will actually be addressed and the diaspora can feel more wanted, more respected, because it's all about respect for the diaspora. They feel they're sending millions back home every year. They're going back to these countries and spending money. They're actually doing so much for their countries in terms of aid during hurricanes and disasters. Yet when it comes to tourism dollars, there is nothing that actually markets to the Caribbean diaspora, or even the ethnic market, which is a huge market. There is just only the focus on Caucasian tourists. We hope that this forum will help us change this debate.
The challenge we have here is how do we form partnerships? It's a new paradigm. We can't continue to do business the same way we used to. There are significant of this population of the Caribbean living outside of the Caribbean. We need to be marketed to do. That's the argument here. And so if it means then that we have to, if we don't have the capacity, how do we develop that
Caribbean country that gives a contract to any public relations firm that is not based on what they bring to the table and their professionalism, their networking capabilities, anything like that. I can tell you, for example, from St. Vincent and the Grenadines' point of view, and I am sure, because most of the Caribbean countries come from the British system, that we tender out our contracts. They're tendered out not only in the Caribbean, but internationally. And we receive those tenders and we go over them and we interview every single firm that has applied for that position. That is what it comes down to. It is not about favoritism. My thing is to get the job done and get it done properly. If you feel that you can do the job, then you make a presentation to the government and people of St. Vincent. But if you're going to call me and tell me, Minister, we can do this, guess what? I need some proof of what we can do, and I need some proof of what we can bring to the table. To say that talk is cheap in terms of how the governments have dealt with the diaspora, I think is very unfair and unjust.
No, it's not.
Well, that's your opinion, and I'm saying mine.
Change the way you do business in the tourism industry. You must bend over backwards to accommodate those of us in the diaspora, because that is what other races of people have done. And to ask us to have the opportunity to give our people a little blind, we must stand up and say, no, we have to be fair, and we have to have this what do you call it? You have this bidding and whatever. So I know damn well that our people don't have the ability financially to stand up to these corporations. We have the skills because we've gone to the same schools that the St. Vincent has been to. But you refuse because of your training and your upbringing to have confidence in your people, to say, yes, I must give them an opportunity to serve my people. You come to this country and tell us we must be a diaspora, we must support our country. Yes, we have no problem supporting our country. I've supported my country since I've come here. I've been supporting it for years. Nobody has to tell me to do that. But why is it when come time for you to spend the dollars from our country, you wind up spending from another person's pocket? Okay. That's what I want to know. Okay. We are asking for fairness.
Can we have some silence, please?
Hold on. 180,000 easy on this website. 2 years before the website is completed, we tendered out to this website, all over the Caribbean and all over Europe. I think we received 20 bids. The company that won the bid was a company from Dominica, quite capable, professional bid, did what they had to do and won it outright. And that is what Caribbean people are made of. But you give everybody a fair chance. Your comment about us investing, about giving money to other people, I'm not sure if that's how you put it, or investing in other people. Really and truly, I don't know what you speak of. But I do know that the governments in the Caribbean do reach out to the diaspora. We do promote education. We look to educate, we look to make sure we have proper health service, and we do many things. Every single Caribbean country has created some sort of organization to help members of the diaspora invest in their respective countries. In St. Vincent and Grenadines, we have Invest SVG who's represented here. As the Honorable Minister from Grenada has said, we have things in place, and every country has their separate incentives in place. But this is not only about the governments providing incentives to the diaspora. It's about the diaspora also communicating with us to say, listen, we have an idea. Something probably that any of the governments have seen or even thought about. We would like to carry it further. What can you provide for us that possibly the incentives have not provided already? And we work with the diaspora. And it's
One question I have to ask, someone to ask. Patrick Buddington, you're a person in the Caribbean community that is involved in advice on local radio. What is your opinions, experience thus far with working with our Caribbean tourism organizations relates to that aspect? Because this is something we hear all the time from our radio broadcasters. So could you eloquently articulate that point for me, sir?
Oh, you mean quickly? Good afternoon. I think, at the end of the day, it's really a missed opportunity, because my experience in working with the tourist board at every level has been there's significant little dollars come out of there that goes towards what we call the diaspora media. I don't know if it's because we're taking for granted that we're going to support our country regardless of that. But I know the budgets that are spent with a lot of the larger firms, and it's not about a handout. I think it's about an opportunity, because I'm from Jamaica. I left there when I was 11, and I'm always going back home. And people are like, "This is home." And I always say every white person in America knows a Jamaican, knows a Grenadian, knows a St. Vincent. We represent your best bet in terms of. I mean, for every dollar that's spent on tourism, I believe, among the diaspora is going to return tenfold. And I think a conscious effort has to be done. One more thing. I know that most ministry has a diaspora budget, but I've never seen one.
Another aspect we want to say to the ministers, that we have an opportunity to work with diaspora.
Just to respond very quickly, I know that it's an area that needs to be addressed. Only this year we had the 2020 World Cup of Cricket was broadcast on One Caribbean Radio. The Barbados Tourism Authority was the lead sponsor of that, and I believe another tourism agency as well. I want to believe St. Lucia, I'm not sure. But we did do that. Also in the United Kingdom, just a minute. In the UK as well, we're working with a chain of Barbadian-owned radio stations as well, Mr. Bradford, 5 stations in the UK. So we're looking at it. I can only tell you what we're doing. And I'm not saying that I know you have stats that will prove that there's been a paucity for a very long time, but I want you to be aware that certainly where we sit, we are definitely trying to address that.
Okay.